You can Facebook us with that. The other story that people are talking about this morning is a possible cancer cluster in North County. And Congressman Brian Bilbray is calling on the government now to investigate parents' claims about the possible cancer cluster in Carlsbad. Last week, cancer patients and their families asked the Carlsbad School Board to test the grounds around Kelly Elementary for toxic chemicals. The group says at least 11 teachers and 9 students from Kelly have developed cancer or cancer-related illnesses over the past decade. San Diego County health officials have launched a task force to investigate the concerns, but Congressman Bilbray says more needs to be done. And he joins us on the telephone this morning to talk about the investigation and what he is looking for. Good morning, Congressman.
Good morning, Sandra.
I had the opportunity to talk with 2 fathers this morning. One of them lost his son, Chase, to non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in December. And the other gentleman has a daughter who is a teacher at Kelly Elementary with terminal cancer. And they're very concerned that not enough is being done, that their concerns aren't being taken seriously, and they want some actual testing of maybe the groundwater or the soil to be done. What do you think about that?
Well, first, Sandra, as somebody who's lost a child myself, it's something that nobody wants to go through, and then when you have these unanswered questions, it just adds insult to injury, and it just makes the pain that much deeper. The fact is, what I'm trying to do is make sure that we get everyone working together, and we've got the best environmental health people in the world working at San Diego County. I know I supervised them for 10 years, but the federal government has resources that we may be able to help with, and so rather than wait for the feds to do it all, I'm just asking that the federal government work with the locals to get as much answers as we can for these parents and for the parents who have healthy children today, that if nothing else for a state of mind and peace of mind, that we're doing everything we can to get the answers to parents so they can make an informed decisions, and that government, not just federal government, but the locals who are really the people who are the experts and on the field have the resource. So hopefully we will respond to this crisis like we did back when we had the fires, that the federal government doesn't take over, but we darn well help the locals get the job done.
There has been an epidemiologist that was called on to investigate this so-called cluster. He was from the Keck School at USC, and his conclusion was that there was no unusually high number of cancer cases, and that he thought that maybe the door should be closed on this. But what you're saying, what I'm hearing, is that regardless, that we should just give the people who live in the area a peace of mind to know for sure that there is nothing in the environment that is causing these cancer cases.
Absolutely. I think that if it is true that there isn't a elevated risk here, then no one should be concerned about more investigation. I think the one thing is that when you know you're right, you should welcome more inquiry just to prove your point. And I think the best way to be able to prove that this study was right was to make sure that all the resources we can look at this to make sure that the data pencils out. And if it does, fine, then we've answered the questions for those who have tragically lost their children. But until we have done everything we know we can do, we really can't look these parents or the children in the face and say that the matter is closed. So hopefully we'll see a cooperative effort here from everyone. And again, I want to emphasize, I think our county people are second to none. It's just that the federal government has certain resources that the county may not have, and I want to make sure from my point of view as a citizen of Carlsbad that our neighborhoods are as safe as possible, and the federal government is working with the local authorities to make sure that that is executed as true as possible.
And we will be talking to Public Health Officer Wilma Wooten a little bit later this morning. Let me ask you about, on another issue, Congressman, President Obama will be addressing the nation tonight from the Oval Office, talking about a variety of things, specifically, I guess, this just colossal disaster that's happening in the Gulf. Do you find it unusual that he would be taking the step to speak directly from the Oval Office about this issue tonight?
Oh, no. I think he's got to pull out all stops. I think that his advisors have told him that his credibility as a leader has been severely damaged. and he has got to really change the way he's been addressing this issue. I think too many people are quick to attack him on this, but frankly, I think that after Hurricane Katrina, there was a lot of people looking to always find blame. But I think that he is really in a crisis mode now. This hunkering down and hoping that the problem would go away wasn't the sign of leadership that people wanted. So I think now, rightfully so, he's got to try to at least appear that he's changing pace and he's really engaged now. And this is something he's learning. I mean, President Obama was not a mayor. He's not been a governor. So he's really got to learn these leadership approaches as he goes. And I think that he's doing the right thing by trying to address this. I just really kind of, saw red bells go up. For me, the alarms go off when I heard the Governor General couldn't get approval from the federal government to put up berms to protect the wetlands. And that really kind of rings true to me looking back 30 years ago when we had that problem with Mexican sewage, and the feds always found reasons to say, let's do more studies rather than say, look, leadership says taking risks. Sometimes you've got to say, to hell with the rules, let's do the right thing, and if it doesn't work out, I'll take the heat. But somebody's got to be able to give an okay and be brave enough to be a leader, even if sometimes you'd have shot for it. And I think the president desperately has to show a different face on this issue. It could really cost him the rest of his administration if he doesn't.
Well, it'll be interesting to watch as his live conference from the Oval Office happens 5 o'clock our time. Congressman, thanks so much. I know how busy you are today. Appreciate you checking in on both of these issues.
Oh, thank you very much, and God bless you for taking a look at them.
All right. Enjoy your day. We'll talk to you soon.